Titans receiver Traylon Burks suffered a sprained LCL in yesterday's joint practices against the Minnesota Vikings. And it's a really unfortunate injury because Burks is a player that coming into training camp was looking to really redeem himself from a rocky rookie season last year. He changed his conditioning. He's a much more confident and comfortable player. And you can really tell that in the interaction with him as well as just what he was able to do on the field. He was stacking plenty of good days. And even if you look at the injury, it happened on a play in which Ryan Tannehill fouled him for a would-be touchdown. The Titans were really relying on Burks to be opposite DeAndre Hopkins and give him a potent 1-2 option in the passing game. Now with Burks out 3 to 4 weeks, it looks like Chris Moore and Nick Westbrook-Ikini will be the guys that are relied upon to step up in his place. They open the season against the New Orleans Saints, and the hope is that he will be ready for that.
All right, so, that was a good little, intro to getting into this. Matchup predictor for your Titans and Saints, 43.4% for your Titans, 56.3% for the Saints. Before we get into this and break this down, the spread is 3.5 for your Saints. Over under is 41. Now, David Carr. Let's talk about the man who was underappreciated. Most likely didn't get his just due with the Raiders. Didn't have a solid team. All right, you can talk about Adams. You can talk about Jacobs. But guess what? Terrible defense, right? And as much as I love Max Crosby, the man can't get it done himself. So there's a lot that goes into why Derek Carr was looking to move on. But we'll get into the depth charts first. Obviously, for your Titans, you're going to have Mr. Ryan Tannehill back at it again, followed up by Malik Willis, which I was really surprised by this because as good as a quarterback Ryan Tannehill has tried to be, I feel like in today's quarterback market, you need more of a mobile quarterback. But the Titans just don't feel that Malik is truly ready, which is okay. Because guess what? We know that Malik Willis is going to be great as a Titans quarterback, and him learning and developing under Ryan Tannehill is going to be great. You still got Mr. Derrick Henry, who's going to run through those gaps, break those walls. DeAndre Hopkins came over. I did say he was just looking for the bag. We'll see if he balls out, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to know this would be the game because they're going to utilize this man as their workhorse. He's going to be catching everything if he's there just, for more than the money. As you just heard, Traylon Burks is out, followed by Kyle Phillips. Your tight end is going to be Chigoziem Okonkwo. Getting into your offensive line, Andre Dillard, Peter Skoronski, Aaron Brewer, Daniel Brunskill, and Nicholas Pettit who's on suspension. As for the defense, Jeffrey Simmons, Tyir Tart, Danico Autry, Harold Landry III, Jack Gibbons, Aziz Al-Shair, Arden Key, Sean Murphy-Bunting, Amani Hooker, Kevin Baird, and Christian Fulton. For your special teams, Nick Folk, Ryan Stonehouse, Kyle Phillips, Julius Chestnut, Morgan Cox. And then as for the Saints, Mr. Derek Carr, Jameis Winston, still holding it down with these Saints. Jake Haener, I was actually surprised by Jake in the preseason. I think he's going to be another great quarterback coming up behind Carr and Winston. And it'll be good to see him back on the field, potentially, for some games so he can get some real playing time. Taysom Hill still in there as a multi-purpose Swiss Army knife. Shout out to Taysom Hill. Alvin Kamara, we won't see him for, I think, 3 weeks because he's going to be on that suspension. But you will have Jamal Williams and Kendre Miller. As far as your wide receivers, you got Chris Olave coming in, followed by Traquan Smith and Shaquan Davis. Michael Thomas, this man, I think he's been paid the most out of anybody and just rode the bench the most as well. But he's back, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm really hoping we get to see him be great. Because Michael Thomas was probably one of the best wide receivers at one point in his career that was on the field. Followed by Keith Kirkwood, Jontre Kirkland, wide receivers Rashad Shaheed, and then A.T. Perry at the second. As for your tight end, Juwan Johnson, you got Taysom Hill following up in the second. Jimmy Graham, ladies and gentlemen, is back. That's a name you probably haven't heard in a while. man been in the shadows. He actually just got in some trouble for a situation. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think that's all been settled and taken care of. But Jimmy Graham, I respected his time with Drew Brees, and he was always a quality tight end. So hopefully we get to see him back on the field. Adam Prentice is going to be your fullback. Offensive line is going to be Trevor Penning, Audris Pete, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, and Ryan Remzik. As far as your defense, Cameron Jordan, I'm expecting him to have another big year. Peyton Turner, Kyle Phillips on the third. Nathan Shepard, Kalin Saunders, Carl Granderson, Pete Werner, Demario Davis, Zach Bond, Paulson Adebo, Tyrann Mathieu, Marcus May, and Marshawn Lattimore. It's a name that hopefully we'll be hearing soon after he gets over his issues. Blake Group, followed by the other Blake, Gillikin, Rashid Shaheed, and then Zach Wood is your long snapper. This is an interesting one, ladies and gentlemen. Titans and Saints. I feel like this may be a complete dogfight. This is the South. And these two teams, especially between Derek Carr, who is going to basically try to prove himself with these Saints, and then Tannehill coming back out, showing why he belongs to be the man for the Titans. You know what the X factor is? I'll tell you what the X factor is. Alvin Kamara being gone. And yes, we can bring up the case of the Saints defense, but guess what? It's still very hard to stop Derrick Henry. I'm going to go Titans by a field goal. I'm going Titans by a field goal. Titans by 3. There you go.